Hello and welcome back to our English class, my dear students of class 7. We have already had one class with this chapter, and today this is going to be a continuation of chapter 11 of our grammar textbook, okay? Adverbs and kinds of adverbs. We have already done this in our previous class. We have done half of it, and I said I will continue the other half in the next class. So I'm here with you with the same lesson that we have been doing, okay? This is grammar. For those of you who have missed our first class, I want you to know that grammar is one of the most important subjects, and if you want to be a person who has good command over language, it is also important for you to understand grammar, and then your language will be all right, okay? And for English medium schools, we know that English is very important for us. As long as we don't understand English, it is going to be difficult for us to study even the other subjects, and for that English too, which is also called as grammar, is going to be very, very important for each and every one of us. We are in chapter 11 of class 7 English grammar textbook. You will find that from page number 61 to 68, okay? Adverbs and kinds of adverbs. I have already explained to you what an adverb is. I've already explained to you adverbs of manner, adverbs of time, and adverbs of place, right? So, an adverb is a word that modifies a verb or that adds meaning to a verb. That's what I have explained. To a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. I explained that verbs are action words, and there are some more verbs like modals and auxiliaries, which are also counted as verb, though they might not necessarily be an action word. Right? Adjectives are words that describes the quality of a noun or a pronoun, right? It tells you whether an object is big or small, whether it is beautiful or ugly. So all those things come under adjective. And then the other one that I have taught you is an adverb can add meaning to another adverb. An adverb can add meaning to another adverb. We have discussed that, and we are going to go forward. The first three kinds, I hope you did not forget, and you should never forget. Or else, if you are just going to keep forgetting after listening to one class, it will be a wastage of your time plus my time, isn't it? Adverb of place will answer to the question where. It will tell you where an action had taken place. I said it revolves around the verb, so it will always revolve around the earth, around the verb. Okay, not the earth, like the sun revolves around the earth, and adverb will always revolve around a verb. It will tell you where an action is done, that is verb, where the verb took place, when the verb took place, or how the verb took place. The way it is taken place, okay? Yes, and we have come to adverb of frequency or number. This is the fourth point under the kinds of adverb, okay? This is the fourth point under the kind of adverb. What is an adverb of frequency or number? I want you to focus at the writing there. What is an adverb of frequency or number? It tells us how often or how frequently an action takes place. I repeat, it tells us how often or how frequently an action takes place, right? You may not understand how often or how frequently. If there's anyone who is finding it difficult to understand how often or how frequently, it means how many times, okay? How many times? It answers to the question how often. It is usually placed before the verb. Usually. I repeat, usually. That means not all the time. But most of the time, it is placed before the verb, but it can also come after the verb. I repeat, it is usually placed before the verb. It is usually. That means most of the time, it is placed before the verb. And then, these are some usage of adverb of frequency or number. I've already explained to you adverb of frequency or number. It answers to how often, how frequently an action takes place, or how many times. And these are the usage that we are going to learn now. Adverbs of frequency or number. I'm showing you the usage. I called at your office twice. I called at your office twice. Lily often visits my place. Mr. Fred rarely comes to the club. Suzanne frequently goes to visit her teacher. Rocco always stands first in the class. Let's read the sentences together again. Let's see whether you notice anything or not. I called at your office twice. Lily often visits my place. Mr. Fred rarely comes to the club. Suzanne frequently goes to visit her teacher. Rocco always stands first in the class. These are the examples, and I want you to look at this again. It is usually placed before the verb. This is the reason why I'm asking you to look at it and to see whether you notice anything or not. See, I called at your office twice. Twice is the adverb of frequency or number. Called is the verb. So, intentionally, I kept this example here to see whether you will notice, because I said it is usually placed before the verb, but here it comes after the verb, right? It comes after the verb, but the sentence says that it is usually. It did not say every time it will be before the verb. It did not say. That is why I gave this. Twice is the adverb of frequency or number, and it came behind the verb, right? Not before. It came behind the verb. Lily often visits me. Here, the word visits is the verb. I told you, adverb is something that revolves around the verb most of the time. Most of the time, you will see that the adverb is always talking about the verb. So, Lily often visits my place. Visits is the verb. Often is the adverb of frequency or number. How many times does Lily visit your place? Often. That means quite regular. I'm not saying daily, okay? Daily and often is different again. I'm not saying daily, but it is often, very often, many times. Mr. Fred rarely comes to the club. Rarely. The word rarely means hardly. He comes, but very rarely, very less times. It tells you the number, isn't it? Suzanne frequently goes to visit her teacher. Suzanne frequently goes to visit her teacher. How often does she go? Frequently. Yes. So the word frequently is the adverb of frequency or number. It is very close to the word frequency, right? So you can understand that very easily. Rocco always. How many times did Rocco get first? It is not just once or twice. He always. That is also frequency. It answers to the question how many times or how much times. How often? Rocco always stands first in the class, right? First is also adverb of number because it is stating the position. Not like 1, 2, 3, but it will state the position. So, an adverb of frequency will state the number like first, second, and third. Here are some more examples of adverb of frequency. I'm sure you can see it on the board behind me. Some more examples of frequency or number. Let's read together. Okay, you are not a primary student anymore. It's not like you have to keep repeating after me all the time. Today, as an adult, okay, I will call you young adults. Or I will call you the senior ones in your school. So let's read it together. Always, seldom, usually. Seldom is given twice. So the word twice is also an adverb of frequency or number. I've given this one by mistake, but that is good for us because the word twice can be used here again. I've given the word seldom twice. How many times did I give? Twice. So that is one good example for us again. It comes under adverb of frequency or number. And then the next word is frequently, never, often, once, sometimes, twice, occasionally, repeatedly, rarely, ever. Never can also be there, okay, etc. Shall we all read this together once more? Adverb of some more examples of adverb of frequency or number. I did not write the word adverb again because we have been repeating that so many times. Even if I don't write, I'm sure you understood that we are discussing about adverbs, right? So adverb of frequency or number. Always, seldom, usually, seldom, frequently, never, often, once, twice, sometimes, occasionally, repeatedly, rare, ever, etc. So these are some words that you can use. And some adverbs of frequency or number is also here again. Almost, completely, enough, entirely, extremely, fairly, hardly, just, much, nearly, quiet, very, scarcely. Okay? And we have adverbs of quantity or degree. Okay, let's repeat again. Adverbs of quantity or degree. It tells us how much or to what extent the thing is done. Okay, how much. Example, it answers to the question to what degree. I studied hard. How hard? Very hard. Example, I studied very hard for the exam. Very hard is the adverb of quantity or degree. We know quantity is amount, right? She treats her servants very badly. It's not his. She treats her servants very badly. How does she treat her servants? Very badly. The word very is signifying the degree, okay? And then we see here, Mohan is too careless. I repeat, Mohan is too careless. How careless is Mohan? He is too careless. And then his face was extremely red with anger. His face was extremely red with anger. So extremely means to a very high degree. Okay, that is telling you the degree, the adverb of degree. And then the next one is the headmistress was almost angry. Not angry, but she almost got angry. You know how difficult it is when the heads of school get angry. You are scared, isn't it? Sometimes if you have done a mistake, whenever they call you to their room, you know the tension that is in your mind. You may be smiling outside, but there is a pain, or there is frightened. You are already frightened from the heart, from within. That is the degree. So the headmistress was almost angry. The cup is nearly full. Okay, almost. Let's look at the words that are highlighted from the examples. Very, too, extremely, almost, nearly. Okay, these are adverbs of quantity or degree. The examples that are here are not frequency, but that belongs to degree. Okay, almost, completely, enough, entirely, extremely, fairly, far, hardly, just, much, nearly, quiet, very, scarcely. These are some examples that we can use for adverbs of quantity or degree and not as written there. And the last point that we are going to be discussing today is interrogative adverbs. But first of all, before we start discussing about interrogative adverbs, we have to know the meaning of what an interrogative sentence is, right? Interrogative sentences are the sentences that ask questions. I want you to know that. I repeat, interrogative sentences are the sentences that ask a question. So you have to be careful while using the interrogative words. You have to be careful and you have to know which are interrogative adverbs and which are not. All question words are not interrogative adverbs. You might misunderstand it sometimes, okay? You might misunderstand it sometimes, but you have to know that all question words like what, where, when, whose, all those are not adverbs. I'm going to explain them, okay? In an interrogative sentence, we can use all the question words as interrogative sentence, but you will also have interrogative adjectives, you will have interrogative adverbs, right? So today we remember that we are focusing only on interrogative adverbs. You have to know that. Remember that we are doing adverbs, and so you cannot just bring all the questions and put under interrogative adverbs. The questions may be like fill in the blanks with interrogative adverbs. That does not mean you can use any question word, okay, that comes to your mind. It is used for asking questions. Of course, that is true. It is used for asking questions, but not all question words are interrogative adverbs. When will they come? Let's read at this. It signifies time. You can say they will come early, they will come late, they will come tomorrow, they will come the day after tomorrow, and so on. So when it is about time, it is an interrogative adverb. The next one is how do you catch a bus? That is manner, right? How do you catch a bus? Adverb of, it is questioning an adverb of manner. I catch my bus by, and you can give your answer like that. Where is your house? It is also asking about a place that comes under interrogative adverb. How is your mother now? It is condition. And then, how far is Kohima from Tuensang? I repeat, how far is Kohima from Tuensang? Right? So that is the distance. This comes under interrogative adverbs. Now let's look at the words here that are highlighted. When, how, where, again how and how. Example, if I say, whose book is this? If I hold a textbook, let me just hold a textbook, okay? If I hold this textbook and ask you, whose book is this? So, how will it be? That is also a question word, but that cannot be an interrogative adverb, right? That cannot be an interrogative adverb because though it's asking a question, it is not related to an adverb. That is what we have understood. And here, interrogative adverbs are used for asking questions which are related to adverbs. Let's read this word once more. When will they come? How do you catch a bus? Where is your house? How is your mother now? How far is Kohima from Tuensang? The words that I'm giving in bracket are because it makes sense to an adverb. It makes sense to an adverb. That is why I am giving you this. So, before we end up, I want you to have a recap of what we have done today and also in the previous class, because everything is interconnected. Even if you learn one point very well, if you don't remember the other point, that is going to prove a little difficult for you to make use of it. So first of all, let's go to the beginning. What is an adverb? An adverb is a word that adds meaning to a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. That is what we already understood. And then the next point that we discuss is adverb of manner. An adverb of manner tells you how an action has taken place. Adverb of time. An adverb of time tells you when the action took place. Why always the action? Because I told you the verb is the main thing here, and the adverb rotates around the verb. Okay, it revolves around the verb, like the sun revolves around like the earth revolves around the sun, right? That is something that you can understand. An adverb of place will answer to the question where, right? An adverb of number or quantity, right? An adverb of, we have so many like degrees, frequency or number, quantity or degree, to what extent, and we have interrogative adverb. These are the main adverbs that we have learned today. With this, we are going to end our class, but I'm coming to you with another topic. I want all of you to be present in that class, okay? Because in the next class, we are going to be discussing another topic. We have already finished the kinds of adverbs today, adverb and its 6 kinds. We have already finished that, but we are going to discuss another topic in grammar, and we will continue with grammar for some days because I want you to have a stronger foundation in grammar before we get into any other things, okay? Thank you so much for listening to me patiently. We have to end our class here for today. Be there next class.